This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Let's work on today fixing your Bosch or Thermador cooktop that keeps sparking or is sparking when it shouldn't. Sometimes it sparks when it's off, sometimes it'll spark after the burner's been lit and it'll still be sparking. So we're gonna figure out how to fix it today. It's actually pretty easy to do. Give you some really good steps. Stick around till the end because there's also kind of a cool trick that a lot of techs don't know about on how to get rid of the sparking problem if all these other steps don't work. Usually the first two will do the trick for you. So let's get started. Feel free, if you have any questions, to leave it in the comments below. And of course, subscribe if you can today so we can send you new videos on a weekly basis. And let's get started. First thing to try that very often works is to make sure that the burner caps on all the burners are laying nice and flat. On the Thermador and Bosch, they have, burner cap has a little notch on it, and then the burner head has a little opening that it has to fit into. If they're at an angle, it won't fit in and it won't light properly. Another thing you could try is to switch burner caps around and then make sure again they lie really flat. Sometimes by switching them around you can get them to light correctly and not continue to click. Whenever they're clicking, even after they're lit, it's due to a problem with the ground circuit. So the spark module that creates the spark is a little confused because there's some dirt or debris or ill-fitting burner cap that is not creating a proper ground circuit, and this causes that phantom clicking, either where the clicking happens even when it's off or it happens after the burner's lit. So if you notice it's happening even when the cooktop is off, take off the burner caps and make sure that they're really dry. Every part of the burner head and the igniter and the burner cap is thoroughly dry. You can use some electrical contact cleaner can help, or alcohol or acetone, to really make sure it's super dry. Even using a hair dryer can help. A lot of times when people have their stoves cleaned by a cleaning person, the stove gets wet and then the water creates a short circuit in the ground circuit. So the stove thinks you're constantly asking for it to be lit. And that's why you get the phantom clicking that's so annoying that happens even when the power is off. It's plugged in, but the power is off or the burners are not turned on. So the other thing you can do is to use a wire brush and some contact electrical cleaner to thoroughly clean all the metal parts. So this includes the igniter and the burner cap, the burner head, every metal part you can see. I'll put a link below for this electrical cleaner. Works really good. Make sure you don't breathe it in because it's could be a little toxic if you breathe in too much. But using a wire brush and thoroughly cleaning all the metal parts, this is on the burner head, to where they're really shiny, and then cleaning the burner cap, the part where it makes contact with the burner head, again where it's super shiny, super clean, will create a really good ground contact, and then the igniter can send a powerful spark between the igniter and the burner cap, and that'll make it for a good lighting, and also it'll tell the spark module you have a good ground connection, and it'll turn off the igniter once it's lit. This particular one had a loose igniter. This igniter should not be able to be just pulled up like we saw here a couple seconds ago. That can create a problem too. That can create a situation where it's again a short circuit between the tip of the igniter and the burner head. There should always be a gap there, but if it's touching or too close, it can arc and cause that phantom sparking. So what I'm doing here is making sure I've got everything really clean. This is the burner that's used the most often. That's probably why the igniter was loose. And I'm using my wire brush to get all the debris off. I'm going to use some contact cleaner. And then to get this to fit in properly, what I did is I used a small shim between the igniter, the porcelain igniter, and where it goes into the hole that would make it fit a little tighter so it would stay in position, because previously it was kind of bending and moving around. And then here I'm using again the wire brush to clean the igniters. Be a little careful as you go over the igniter parts because the porcelain can easily crack if you put too much pressure. You can put heavy pressure on the metal parts, but the porcelain igniter should be cleaned gently. The contact cleaner really helps, but when you get everything super shiny, you get rid of all the moisture, and you have really good ground connections, then things work really good. Another problem could be though that your burner switches are dirty, so we can clean these easily by just pulling off the burner caps. I'm sorry, the burner knobs that come right off. Then take your electrical cleaner, it has a little spray tube to get into these tight spots, and spray into all these openings. And make sure you wait about probably 15 minutes before you then try to light it, because this stuff is really flammable and you don't want there to be a spark or a small fire inside your cooktop. So just wait for it to dissipate. But that can often be a reason where you get the phantom sparking, because the burner switch is actually in an active position because of a carbon buildup. So you may have to take off these brass venturi nuts that we see at the top of the burner head. I'm using a 20 millimeter 6-sided socket, and I've ground it down with a belt grinder to get it really flat. And previous to taking this off, I sprayed it with 3 or 4 days using some break-free compound. But still, by turning it, I can tell it's not moving. If I use enough muscle, I'm going to end up severing the gas line. So in this case, I gave up on removing these venturis. The reason you'd want to remove them is so that you can get it underneath the black spill plate and then work on some of the components below. Because this one, the simmer controls below on the left side weren't working. So I wanted to work on them, but I don't want to go to a point where I break those gas lines. So we're just going to end up repairing the 4 burners on the right, and we're just going to leave these alone. But very common to the Bosch and Thermador, the left side simmer burners often will stop sparking or they'll stop letting in gas, and you have to go in underneath the spill plate and replace a couple of the components. It could be the simmer control, or it could be the solenoids that let in the gas. But I do want to again caution you that if you use a lot of strength, you can easily sever the aluminum gas lines, which you don't want to do. It is good to try though with the break-free type lubricant to break the corrosion, and also you can use a torch to heat it up. That can help, but this one was just far too tight, and I have used enough muscle to loosen it before, but it ends up breaking the gas line, and then you have to replace a lot of parts, which can be expensive. So this is just kind of a design flaw that after a certain amount of years on the Bosch and Thermador and the other companies made by Bosch have this problem, and the venturis are really hard to get off.
Let's see. Is it consistent though?
So now we have normal clicking and normal lighting.
That's working.
And that's because we cleaned it everything really well. And we also
that's good. Cool.
Use our electrical cleaner, made sure the contacts were good. Another thing you can do, this is the last thing to try, is to use an extension cord to plug in your plug below your cooktop and then plug in your extension cord into another outlet somewhere else in your house, maybe in your living room, that has a better ground. If you have a bad ground, that's where this green arrow is pointing, that can cause this phantom sparking. And if you correct that, you can often fix the problem.
Watching our video, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance, and also click the little bell notification button so we can send you weekly videos on all the different ways of fixing appliances around your home and saving you lots of money. So thanks again for watching, and please also press the like button for our video if this was helpful to you.
Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com, with any of your questions. And also, if you need to have a FaceTime meeting with me,
or a Zoom meeting, you can click on one of the links below in the description and we can set up a 15-minute or 30-minute video conference where we can work on your appliance problem. So thanks again for all your support and for watching the video.